All right, folks, sit down, grab a drink, and take a deep breath because what I'm about to talk about is absolutely jaw-dropping. Reports, whispers, and social media madness are pointing to something that sounds more like a Madden Fantasy League glitch than actual NFL reality, but here we are. The rumor flying around like wildfire across Twitter, Reddit, and NFL fan circles is this: Patrick Mahomes, the generational quarterback, two-time NFL MVP, two-time Super Bowl champ, and the face of the Kansas City Chiefs, was spotted at the Dallas Cowboys headquarters. And not just for a casual visit, not for a charity event, not for some off-season promotional appearance, but reportedly to finalize a 4-year contract with none other than Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys. I know it sounds unbelievable, borderline absurd, and yet it's captivating the sports world like nothing we've seen since Tom Brady left New England. Let's be clear, nothing about this has been officially confirmed, but the volume, consistency, and detail in the online chatter is making even skeptics raise their eyebrows. I'm going to break this entire thing down from top to bottom, exploring every angle, every nuance, and every consequence of what it would mean for Mahomes to trade red and gold for blue and silver. Let's start with why this is such a massive story in the first place. Mahomes is under contract with the Chiefs until 2031. Yes, that's right, 2031, thanks to that mammoth 10-year, $450 million extension he signed back in 2020. That deal was unprecedented at the time. It was the NFL's biggest contract ever, both in length and guaranteed money. And since then, Mahomes has only elevated his legacy. He's already in the GOAT conversation at age 29. He's the youngest quarterback to ever make 4 Super Bowl appearances, and his combination of arm talent, poise, mobility, and leadership is something that we just haven't seen since prime Rodgers or maybe even prime Brady. So for him to even entertain the idea of leaving Kansas City, let alone sign a contract with another team, that's the kind of thing that would send shockwaves not just through the league, but through sports history. So why the Cowboys? Well, let's look at this from a few different perspectives. First of all, Dallas is the most valuable sports franchise on the planet. We're talking about a team worth nearly $10 billion, according to Forbes. Their branding power is unmatched. They've got a fan base that stretches from coast to coast, and they haven't won a Super Bowl since 1996, which means they're desperate for postseason glory. Jerry Jones is 82 years old and has made it very clear that he wants to see another Lombardi trophy before he passes the torch. What better way to chase that dream than by signing the best quarterback in football, a proven winner, a player who can walk into any locker room and instantly raise the ceiling of that entire roster? It's the kind of all-in move that aligns with Jerry's history of swinging big and chasing stars. Remember when he brought in Deion Sanders? Remember the endless pursuit of splashy names and headline-grabbing transactions? This would be his legacy move, no doubt about it. And let's not forget the Cowboys just gave Dak Prescott one of the richest contracts in NFL history. In fact, his latest deal made him the highest-paid quarterback by annual average salary, around $60 million per year. That move raised a lot of eyebrows because, while Dak has been solid and has put up good regular season numbers, he hasn't been able to get it done in the playoffs. He's 2-5 in postseason games and has struggled against elite defenses. So just imagine, if Jerry decided enough was enough and wanted to bring in someone with the pedigree, poise, and championship resume of Mahomes. It would mean finding a way to move off of Dak, which is no small task given the cap implications, but in the world of big money and billionaire owners, stranger things have happened. Now, about Mahomes' contract, yes, it's a behemoth, but it's also front-loaded and structured in a way that gave the Chiefs cap flexibility in the early years. That means the final years of the deal are less financially burdensome, and with a little maneuvering, there's a theoretical path to extricating him from it. Whether through a restructure, trade agreement, or a rare player-initiated buyout scenario, it's not entirely impossible. It's unlikely, sure. But impossible? Not quite. especially if both sides, Mahomes and the Cowboys, wanted it badly enough. Let's talk motivations. Why would Mahomes even consider leaving Kansas City? Well, no situation is perfect. While he's won and has the full support of Coach Andy Reid, there's been ongoing chatter about how team-friendly his contract has become, especially after Burrow, Hurts, Herbert, and now Prescott have inked deals worth more than Mahomes on an annual basis. While Mahomes has said all the right things publicly talking about team over money and building dynasties, he's still a human being, and pride, legacy, and worth matter. If he sees himself being underpaid relative to less accomplished quarterbacks, there could be some simmering tension under the surface. Then there's the lifestyle angle. Mahomes is from Texas. He was born in Tyler, played college ball at Texas Tech, and still has deep roots in the Lone Star State. Playing in Dallas would be something of a homecoming for him, and his family, especially his father, Pat Mahomes Sr., has often spoken about how much Texas means to them. Playing under the brightest lights in the league, for a team that has the biggest platform and the most televised games, could be an appealing proposition. On top of that, endorsements, brand value, and post-football business ventures would all skyrocket if Mahomes wore the star on his helmet. He's already a commercial powerhouse, but adding Cowboys blue to his brand? That's a whole new stratosphere. Now let's take a look at the potential fallout of such a move. First and foremost, Kansas City fans would be devastated. Mahomes is not just a player, he's a symbol of hope, pride, and transformation for a franchise that had long been mired in playoff disappointment before his arrival. Losing him, even hypothetically, would trigger a crisis of identity for the Chiefs. Their entire roster, system, and coaching philosophy are built around Mahomes' skill set. You don't just replace a generational talent like that. And what about the locker room? The trust, the chemistry, the brotherhood, it would all be thrown into chaos. Travis Kelce is aging, Andy Reid may retire soon, and suddenly the Chiefs could find themselves in rebuild mode. On the flip side, the Cowboys would instantly become the most dangerous team in the league. You give Mahomes that offensive line, that running game, and a receiving core that includes CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, and Jake Ferguson. That's a juggernaut. Add in Micah Parsons, Trayvon Diggs, and a top 10 defense, and you've got a legitimate Super Bowl favorite. Vegas odds would explode overnight. Merchandise sales would shatter records. The NFL schedule would be reshuffled to feature Dallas in primetime nearly every week. It would be a marketing dream. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Again, we have to remember this is just a rumor. There's been no official confirmation, no press conference, no Schefter tweet. We haven't seen images or videos of Mahomes entering Cowboys HQ. It's entirely possible that this was all sparked by a lookalike, or a misinterpreted sighting, or even a clever troll job. In today's age of deepfakes, misinformation, and viral hoaxes, we have to be cautious about what we believe. But what makes this story so captivating is that it's just plausible enough to keep us wondering. In an offseason where big moves are being made and teams are going all in, nothing feels off limits anymore. And if we've learned anything from sports history, it's that empires fall, dynasties end, and nothing lasts forever. Think about when Joe Montana left the 49ers, or when Peyton Manning left the Colts, or Brady left the Patriots. Nothing is sacred in the NFL, not even Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. So as we continue watching this story unfold, keep an eye on the signs. Watch for statements from Chiefs ownership. Listen for coded language in Jerry Jones interviews. Monitor Mahomes' social media activity. Because if this thing gains even a shred of legitimacy, we could be looking at the most shocking quarterback move in NFL history. Until then, let's treat it like the wild off-season drama it is, part rumor, part fantasy, but 100% entertaining. And let me know in the comments, do you think Mahomes would ever leave KC? Would Jerry Jones really push out Dak for him? And what would it take, cap-wise and trade-wise, to make that fantasy a reality? Hit that like button if you enjoyed this breakdown, subscribe for more in-depth NFL analysis, and as always, stay tuned. This offseason might just be getting started.